Islam in Focus. Muslim American delegation's tour of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the second journey of a lifetime. Imam W. Deen Mohammed's work recognized in Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum. May the peace of Almighty God be upon you. Dear beloved people, welcome again to Al-Islam in Focus. We're going to continue with our interview of Imam W. Deen Mohammed and his trip to Saudi Arabia. And we'll get started right off the bat because we have a lot to cover. The first thing you'll see are some scenes from the governor assistant, Saad Al Othman of the Eastern region, presents Imam Muhammad with a very beautiful gift. And we'll let Brother Imam tell us what that gift is.
Yes, that was a gold inlaid, gold plated tea and coffee set.
Sounds good.
Yes, plated inside and outside with gold. And we're keeping it for special guests that we receive.
Yes, sir.
So we can serve them out of that wonderful gift that we received there.
Oh, one day I'll be your special guest.
The cups will be waiting for you.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. The shopkeepers. Now, we showed a picture earlier where it showed that you were shopping.
Yes, we were shopping in one of the malls there. And the malls look very similar to the modern malls you see in the United States and in our cities here. Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that they got together, a shopkeeper presented you with a gift.
With a gift
after he found
yes.
out that you were there in the mall.
Yes, he recognized us from television in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And he asked to meet us. He met with us and then wanted to give a gift to the leader of the delegation.
Yes, sir.
So he gave me a gift of like a old Bedouin's knife inside a case. But it was not antique or anything. It was like a copy, you know, an imitation.
Right.
Yes, but it was a nice gift and very thoughtful of him. So I thought it was an invitation to come back to his shop.
Yes. Okay, we'll go to the next one. This is the modern instruments are explained to the Muslim American delegation at the King Abdulaziz City for Science and Technology. So this is brother there explaining to you all the operation.
Yes, this is what they call King Abdulaziz City. City for the development of science and technology.
Yes.
And as I said, it was just astounding to learn that such was going on there.
Yeah.
So the State Department, the United States, our government, the State Department, they're aware of all these things. But because of I guess the character of Saudi Arabia, such things are not so newsworthy, perhaps,
Yes,
in the United States, because I didn't know. And while reading the Riyadh Daily in Saudi Arabia, I read where a Westerner was giving his statement to one of the journalists there, saying that he was surprised too to find out, learn about so much development in Saudi Arabia, very recent and very rapid development there, and we don't know anything about it in America.
Yes.
So what you're doing is informing people. I wasn't informed.
I understand.
Okay.
Yes,
You didn't know.
I didn't know. No.
So you informing people, you know, and I don't know whether it's good or bad. But let me tell you something. Many of us Muslims, we think of Saudi Arabia, Mecca and Saudi, place for pilgrimage.
Yes, that's right.
Place where our prophet began the work of the religion, giving the religion, the revelation from God and all that.
Yes, sir.
We don't like to see that image or that character changed, you know. So maybe it's not good to, what I'm saying is, I hope we just get through this and finish with it, because I don't think we should dwell on this too much.
I understand.
Yes, about the Saudi Arabia as a modern, as a newcomer now, among the industrializing nations, you know.
Yes.
That's good and great, but that's not what makes Saudi Arabia precious to Muslims.
I understand.
And the leaders of Saudi Arabia, the royal kingdom there, the members of the royal kingdom, from the crown prince down, all the persons we've met, they stress that concern too, that we mainly think of ourselves as custodians, protectors of the holy places, to accommodate the pilgrims from all over the world, to serve the needs of the religion for our citizens here in Saudi Arabia and for Muslims all over the world. That's their main job. And that's the image of Saudi Arabia and the image of the Saudis that we like to keep, you know.
I understand.
Yeah, but this is important that we are doing this, but we don't expect to continue this.
It's one thing that I would like to mention, and if I'm incorrect, you correct me. I remember reading in the Holy Qur'an that it said that Allah would bless people with knowledge where they could make great advancement in many ways.
Yes.
But it is also a test.
Oh, everything is a test,
yes,
yeah.
to see if you will hold on
Yes.
to the true virtues
Well,
in that progress.
believe me, from what we have observed, the Saudis are in good shape. Their religion is first. Their religious character is first. Their
Yes, sir.
religious concerns are first.
Right.
Yes. That's what we witnessed there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now, the reason I mention that, Brother Imam, is because I think what is really happening there is that they are going to be the example of how a person can advance in technology and yet hold on to their true virtues.
Yes. One of them told us, say, there are two kinds of industrialists.
Yes, sir.
Say, there is the industrialist who industrializes, and there's the industrialist who serves God.
Yeah. That's plain enough.
It's a difference.
Yes,
There
sir.
is a difference. And we have the same thing in the United States. Some industrialists, developers, they come into the area, and they will disrespect the needs of the neighbors, of the
Yes.
people in that area.
That's right.
And other industrialists will come in and improve the environment for those neighbors.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Brother Imam, now I'm going to speak on this before the next picture come up, because I don't think we have that picture to show. I'm not sure. But it's an African student that was in Saudi Arabia, and he saw you, I think, in the shopping
Yes.
center, and he rushed up to you to greet you.
Yes.
And I thought that was a very beautiful
Yes.
scene.
Again, I think he had seen us on television, you know.
Yes.
But he gave me an impression that he had an acquaintance with us even prior to seeing us on
Right.
television in Saudi Arabia. I think he had some experience from back in years ago,
Yes.
and he was acquainted with us.
Right.
And he cheered us because he was so happy to meet us. He cheered us also.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have that. There's
Yeah,
the scene.
there's the man.
Yes,
That's the
thank
man. Yes.
And
He
I was
very
looking at
happy
the
to
look on
see
his
us.
face,
Yes.
you know, yeah.
Yes. He identified himself as African.
And I see Brother Playman Alameen.
Yes, from Atlanta.
Yeah, I noticed he looks like
he's also the head of the school, the high school, you know,
Yeah.
in Atlanta.
Right.
Claire Mohammed Elementary School,
Yes, sir.
and Deen High School.
Right. Number 3, Dr. Becca bin Abdullah bin Becca. And he's the director of the university, and he presents you with a gift.
Yes.
And further discusses the future of Sister Clara Muhammad Schools.
Yes, that gift is the emblem. That's the official emblem of the institution of higher learning there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it says you further discussed the future of Sister Clara Muhammad
Yes.
Schools. And I think you mentioned that.
Yes. Well, every opportunity we got, because that was our main concern,
Right.
to make acquaintance and also to open up a relationship for the Clara Muhammad School with the institutions and persons who head those institutions of learning
Yes,
in
sir.
Saudi Arabia. And, you know, when one school tie into a better school, even in the United States, one institution of learning will tie into another institution of learning and improve its value. and not only is its ratings too. It can even charge more tuition if it's a top school that has paid tuition, because of its tie into another institution that's better or that offers something that it doesn't have.
I see.
So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for us to tie in with
Yes,
the
indeed.
Islamic institutions of higher learning in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but we should also do it in the United States too, and I think some of us have done that.
Right.
Have some kind of association with other institutions of learning.
Yes, sir. And we go on to number 4. And this is Prince Satam bin Abdulaziz. He's the vice governor of Riyadh.
Yes,
And he received you and the delegation.
yes, Prince Satam, he's another one of the higher officials that we met, and all of them, in my opinion, are very genuine, very
sir.
genuine people, very genuine people,
And there's your son-in-law.
with
sir.
religion as the first concern.
Yeah.
That was Imam Hafiz, the resident Imam of Chicago.
Yes, sir. And also your son-in-law.
Well, and also my son-in-law, right?
We're going to number 5. Had you finished with what you wanted to say?
Yes.
on that? Okay. Imam Muhammad is interviewed by the editor of Riyadh Daily.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thought that might
I
have been
mentioned the
interesting
paper, the
thing.
name of that paper earlier. A
Yes.
statement from a Westerner was in the paper saying that he was surprised to see so much progress in the way of industrialization in Saudi Arabia and et cetera.
Yes, sir.
And it was the statement of this Western person from the West was in that magazine, in that paper, pardon me, the Riyadh Daily.
Yes, sir.
And if you would think that Saudi Arabia's papers perhaps would be tabloids, you know. So when you look at those papers, they meet the standard for our country.
I understand.
And I would think that they either got some assistance or most likely the students. See, many students from Saudi Arabia came to America, and they have studied journalism, they've studied medicine, they've studied many things in the country. Like the Muslim rise into science and et cetera during the early days of after the advent of our prophet,
Yes, sir.
caused by the Quran and the enlightenment that came with the Quran. They were the ones responsible for sending knowledge to all quarters of the world that would accept it. And students and men of learning from Europe would come to the Muslim centers of learning in Muslim lands.
I understand.
Damascus, Syria, even Timbuktu at one time in Africa was
Yeah,
a
that's
center of
famous,
learning.
Timbuktu.
In Baghdad also. And Westerners came there from Europe and different places. They came there to study. Now, the West is the one. The European, the American, has advanced the world in science and technology, etc. And Muslim, he's not ashamed. He's not too proud. So the Saudis have really come to this country and studied at some of the finest universities, colleges and universities America have. And they have gone back with the knowledge, and now they are able to manage the things that they couldn't manage before. You would think, say, well, how can that nation come into this kind of industrialization and be responsible for it so quickly? It wasn't so quickly. Their students were preparing to head those institutions and to head those projects. And now they're over there with the knowledge that they got mainly from the institutions of learning and America and their connection with the American industrialists, etc. They've gotten the knowledge, although they have gone some other countries, as I mentioned on one of the earlier.
Yeah,
they've gone to some other countries too, but most of their assistance and most of their help has come from America. And they've gone back there not as Americanized Muslims, but just as Muslims who appreciate good and assistance that comes from America.
Yes.
And they've gone back there and they've done a wonderful job, and they're managing their own projects and their own development.
You know, Brother Imam, this is good for the world to know.
It is.
Because there's so many people right here in our country that I come in contact with. They don't realize the changes that have taken place in the Muslim world. I mean,
it's
like
phenomenal.
this,
What we're talking about now is
they're
phenomenal.
still thinking of it as it, you know, they see movies and things like that, and they see the old,
Well, you know,
and they still think that's the way it is.
well, even what we have seen, and it's because of, I would say, ignorance between the two people,
Yes.
ignorance of each other.
Yeah.
We have seen the projection of the Muslim of Saudi Arabia, or the Muslim Arab,
Yes.
that has been really disrespect, a cartoon presentation.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, even in some of the finest, so-called finest history books, we have seen such misrepresentation of what Muslims really are
Yes,
across
absolutely.
seas that I would say it's just cartoon presentation of the people. But we have to admit, though, we have also been ignorant of the fine attributes and fine character of the American people
Yes,
and their achievements too.
that's true.
And we have to admit also that many of the Muslim nations, along with non-Muslim nations, envy the advancement and the power of the American nation, American people, the United States.
Mhm.
And that, in a way, has hurt their relationship and have hurt their opportunity to really benefit from the achievements of,
Oh, I see what
of
you
the
mean.
Western people,
I see
of the
what you
Western
mean.
people.
I see.
But thanks to Allah, thank God, as we did, that's changing.
Yes.
That's
Rapidly.
changing. That's changing.
Yes, very rapidly.
Yes.
Brother Imam, thank you very much for that. That was very enlightening. We'll go on to the next scene. The delegation on tour of King Saud University visit classrooms.
Oh yes.
See, that's one of the...
Oh yes. I had a thrilling experience there. I visited a school that brought to my mind my school days in Clare Muhammad School in Chicago.
Mhm.
You know, we had to dress very neatly
Yes,
and have jackets, either suit or at least a jacket,
yes.
shirt, tie, pants, neat. I saw Saudi students sitting in their Saudi dress. Not this, they wear the Saudi garb, the students. But the garb was so clean, so pressed, so starched nice, and the headpiece was so nice. And the way they sat so respectful, with such respect. They were conscious of themselves, conscious of their discipline as students.
Yeah.
And it made me think of myself and my classmates, Imam Donnell Kareem, and many others I could name. You know him, so
Yeah,
I name
yeah.
him. We were classmates back then, you know. And my heart went out to those students. So I told them, I said, well, what you are doing here and your concerns here and what you're trying to achieve, I said, we're doing the same things in the States,
Yeah.
same thing in the States. So we have young men like you in the States.
Were they
I
surprised?
said, and we hope to have many more. I said, one day we hope that you would, they were surprised, certainly they were surprised. And I told them that, I said, we like to have more students like you are, you know. They were very, but they have such admiration for us, and some of us don't want to admit it. Mainly because we are citizens of the United States, not because we are just Muslims, but we are Muslims and also Muslims from the United States of America. The United States is an envied country. It's a hated country. Many people hate it. But believe me, I think the majority of the people, secretly or openly, admire America for its achievements and for something that it has in its people, for something that we have. And maybe that is, maybe I have to explain it in the way that one American explained it once in the news. It said that the American people have charity.
Yes. That is one of the...
Yeah, we treat each
attributes
other
of
like
America.
we hate each other sometimes. But when it comes to the underdog, I think most Americans
Yes,
like to help the underdog.
that's quite true.
Like to go to the aid of the suffering or to the aid of the underdog.
Yeah,
You know, and I think nations around the world, they appreciate us for that.
yes.
And you know, America has been the Mount Everest of achievements for a nation, right?
Yes.
And they know that. So when you come as an American, they're happy to see you. You a Muslim from America? You African, black from America? You know, it means more.
Brother Imam, this next scene is
yes,
the Mayor of Riyadh.
Yes,
And
with
he
the
leads,
sunglasses, the old man right there.
Yes.
But let me tell you something about that old man. That old man made us young men feel ashamed. He took us in areas of the old city where the first government seat was established by the founder of Saudi Arabia, King Saud, the first king.
I understand.
And he took us into ruins, up into the ruins that left there from the old first government seat. And he was climbing up these huge steps. You know, they had steps like this, not modern steps. Those ain't the old steps like that, you know. And he's going up, he's 80-some years old. And some of us getting tired, you know. I did pretty good, though. The delegation, they saluted me, you know. I did pretty good. I kept my health up and everything. So we were going up behind him, man, and he was just stepping and going all the way up to the top, like about 5 or 6 stories up those high steps. Showed us living quarters that they used to have inside and everything, how they kept the dates, preserved the dates in the shade and cool area of the building. The walls itself, the clay walls, kind of served as a cooling area, you know, to keep the temperature down. They kept dates there and everything. He told us how they kept it. He took us to the bath where they had baths, the big baths in there, the family bath, and the guest rooms and everything. And he came down and then went for a long walk along like a fort. Old government fort, showing us that fort, the fort area. And when he told us his age, we couldn't believe it. You know what he was proud of more than anything else?
What's that?
He was proud of being a soldier by the side of the first king when they fought to establish the civilized order that they established, you know, in the days of the first king.
So he's a pioneer.
And to bring revival of the religion. They brought, the religion had started to become superstition, and a lot of things were creeping into the public, religious public, that was against the Quran, against the holy book, and not following the teachings of the prophet. So it was that first king that brought about the reform there, and also brought about the first king. There was no Saudi Arabia. The name Saud takes its name, Saudi Arabia takes its name from the first king, Saud, about 1928 maybe, or earlier.
Oh, it's recent, really.
Yeah. Yes, earlier, when they became a kingdom, when they became a kingdom. But it was the late, it was the 1890-something when he first began his drive as a student of the teacher, the reformist, whose name was Wahhab. So they still follow his teachings, and so they have a school there they call the Wahhab School, Wahhabi School. And it was a combination of those two people, the educator and the religious reformist, Wahhab, and King Saud, that brought about what we know now as Saudi Arabia.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Brother Man.
The old mayor, the mayor of the old city is the one gentleman we saw with the sunglasses. He told us a lot of stories, vivid. He gave us vivid description of how they fought together and everything.
I bet that was very enlightening.
It was. He was so proud of his being a soldier by the side of King Saud.
We're going to go through these next ones kind of briefly because I want to get to the subject. We only got 5 more minutes.
Well, you better go quickly.
The delegation made Jumu'ah prayer at this masjid behind the palace. That's another one of those beautiful masjids.
Yes, that's the guest palace, government guest palace is right near there.
Yes.
And we made prayers there.
And we'll go to the next one, which is the view of the modern buildings that line the highway between Dumam and Duran.
Yes, they have many such buildings in Saudi Arabia, and many of them are not occupied, but they're accommodating students and workers that are coming in from all over the world for scholarships, because Saudi Arabia has the money. They're granting scholarships to students from many parts of the world,
That's wonderful.
And many students come paying. Now, not all free. Some come as paid tuitions. And many workers, because so much development over there, you imagine that they must take thousands of workers, because the Saudis are not able to do all that work.
Right. Now, this next one, that's in your suite when you were there.
Oh, that's in the government palace. This is the government, the palace of the government for guests, government guest palace. And that's our suite. You say mine, but don't forget we were a delegation. We were a delegation, and it's just because the fact that I'm the leader that the big dining room was in the suite for me, you know.
Oh, I see.
But it was open to all of us, and so you saw all of us sitting there at the table. We ate there. We had meetings with each other. We had time to talk over our concerns in the United States while being in Saudi Arabia as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Next one is Imam Mohammed shops in store in Riyadh Shopping Center.
No, this one.
No,
wait,
I'm sorry.
we missed
I'm
that.
sorry.
We already with that.
Dr. Mohammed
Right.
Azimi, I think that's pronounced, demonstrates hadith on computer disk
Yes.
for delegation.
Yeah, Adami is his name.
Ademi?
Yes, it should be.
Okay.
Let's
Well, that's
see.
a mistake I made.
Let's
They
see.
had AZ.
Yeah, this is Dr. Muhammad. Yes, Azami.
Azimi, okay.
Yes, he is a professor and also a scholar in the religion. But his project there is hadith, putting hadith on computer. The sayings and life works of Prophet Muhammad on the computer.
Yes, sir.
So that a teacher or imam who wants to prepare a lecture or want to write a book or something, he can go to, like he did. He just showed me a different demonstration. I asked him, it was a certain hadith. It's on rain. I asked him, I said, can you find a hadith for me if I give you some information? He said, yes. I say rain. I want a certain hadith where the Prophet mentioned something on rain. He brought all the statements on rain. And in there was the one. I found it right there. Yeah. So I told him I would like to purchase one. When you finish, I want to make a purchase. He told me you'll have one as a gift.
Alhamdulillah. The next one is, this is the one that Prince Muhammad prepared a table spread in the desert for the delegation.
Yeah, this is Prince Muhammad al-Faisal, who's over the Department of Religion for the embassy under Prince bin Sultan in Washington, D.C. He is the one who invited us to spend a day with him on the desert, and also a night, but we didn't spend a night. He also invited us to spend a night with him on the desert. We had one of the greatest experiences in our life right there, where we got a chance to experience some of the Bedouins' desert life and eat dinner meal prepared for us by them on the desert.
Brother Imam, our time has run out so quick. I had so much left here that I want to discuss with you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to close out. I was hoping we could get to these, but we'll do it on our next one.
All right, we hope so.
Brother Imam, again, thank you so much.
I've enjoyed it.
You shared so much
I've
with
enjoyed
us.
it. And it's always a pleasure to be on the program with you and to assist you in any way, because you're doing a work that's very valuable to all of us.
Thank you, Brother Imam.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, dear beloved people, for being with us. And I'll say, alaikum. May the peace of Almighty God be with you, and we'll see you on our next broadcast. Thank you very much.
Good-hearted people must rise. Good-hearted people must realize our ship is sinking in immorality, and we've got to come together to save our lives, our lives. Good-hearted people must rise. Good-hearted people must rise. Good-hearted people must realize we've got to shoulder responsibility, and we've got to make it better just to save our lives, our lives.
Alaikum. May the peace of Almighty God be with you, and we'll see you on our next broadcast. Thank you very much.